do we stay healthy? It's a really interesting question. It's so simple, but yet is so profound. I'm Dr. Michael Smith. I'm a naturopathic doctor here in Missoula, Montana, and I was thinking about this today with a patient that I was working with, uh, who kept getting sick kind of recurrently, get better, gets then after a while gets sick again, and then we kind of repeat the process multiple times a year. And it was interesting as I was talking with them, recognizing that there's so many things that are going on into our health and what's going on of how we stay healthy and how we might get sick. And as I was thinking about this, I was kind of reflecting on this germ theory and the terrain theory. Now, this debate has been going on for a long time. And the purpose of our conversation right now is not to dive into that. But I really do believe both are at play. Fully recognizing that there are pathogens in our environment, in our lives, in our world, in our body, that if in the right scenario could cause disease. If there's a virus floating around, we breathe it in, it gets into our lungs, it can multiply, it can start causing viral symptoms, which is really our body's reaction to that virus and wanting us to get it out of the system. There's bacteria that, if in imbalanced levels, can really make a big difference for our health. We also have this terrain theory, in a way, that I think recognizes the fact that everyone is different. Everyone has a different terrain, and if that bacteria, that virus, was put in a different terrain, it would live and land differently. This is a really might not be a great analogy, but if you're wanting to be an astronaut and travel to different planets, you're going to pack differently if you're going to Venus than if you were to go to the moon, than if you were to go to Mars, than if you were to go to Pluto. That kind of different terrains, it may not be the best analogy, but I think it kind of works. About we need to recognize that every person is like that different planet, and if the virus is going to land, it's going to have a different response. And while we can't always change the germs, we can change our own body's immune system, our own body's ability to fight disease, fight pathogens, bacteria, and really empower ourselves to give us the things that we need to be healthy. And as I was thinking about this, there's several different things that come to mind. Obviously, I'm not, and I don't want to talk about like what to do when you get sick, but the step before that, like what can we do to prevent ourselves from getting sick? And I think if you ask children, what do you do to stay healthy? They would give you the basic answers: eat well, sleep well, move well, at least manage stress well. Maybe not kids, but those are the basic foundations. Those are the foundations of health. But they're so important. We have the way we eat affects our gut. And the bacteria in our gut. It affects the level of inflammation in our gut. And the gut, our GI tract, with all of the billions, if not trillions, I can't remember what the number is right now, of bacteria that live in our gut, affects our whole body. There's the gut-brain connection, there's the gut-skin connection, our lung health, so many things, not to mention our immune system, being the big one that we're talking about right now, is making a difference. And if we eat a lot of sugar, it's going to lead to inflammation. It's going to compromise our body's ability to fight disease when it happens. If we are really stressed, we are taxing our hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, our HPA axis, which is related to cortisol. I talk with patients, if not weekly, sometimes daily, about cortisol. Cortisol is our body's ability to regulate stress. It changes throughout the day, and it is one of our body's natural anti-inflammatory hormones. It helps to keep inflammation under control. Helps help us get. I like to call it the get up and go hormone. It gets us up in the morning, and it also helps our body respond to stress. And one of the conversation I was having with a patient was, how does our cortisol levels manifest in our immune system? And the research I was doing, it was really interesting because it was talking about how cortisol kind of helps regulate our immune system. It doesn't put the brakes on it, but it kind of helps regulate it and modulate it. Not only the inflammation, which I think is a little easier to grasp, but it's helping to regulate cytokines and other things that are in interplay with our immune system. So if we're stressed, and I'm speaking from my clinical experience here, I've often seen people who are stressed, really fatigued, have lower levels of cortisol. I think we often think that, oh, I'm really stressed, my cortisol must be through the roof. Actually, I often see it's the opposite, where your cortisol is low and you're not able to respond to that stress. Whether it's emotional stress, mental stress, all of the family, occupational life, just being a human in this world stress, but also the physical stress of a virus, a bacteria, surgery, all these things. And all of those play into our terrain. And there's so many things that we can do. And they're simple, but yet hard. Like, it's a work in progress, I know, for me. And I know it is for my patients. Like, continually doing those things that we know we need to do. But all of those things are going to make a difference for our terrain. I like the analogy of Lego blocks and how one little Lego block by itself is pretty insignificant. But if you take a lot of little Lego blocks and add them up, you can get these huge sculptures. Legoland, or other places like that. You can see a lot of amazing, huge things with just a million little Lego bricks. And it's the same thing with our health. Eating healthy for one day is great, but it's eating healthy over and over and over and over and over again that's really going to change our ability to respond to infection, into stress, to everything that life throws at us. Certainly, we can do our best to mitigate the exposures to illness and things like that. And there's a whole conversation on immunity and vaccinations, which I'm not going to talk about. But really, I think that it really can come down to a lot of the basics and the things that we do on a daily basis to shape our health. So that's my thought for the day, as I try to do more of these reflecting on patients that I've seen, things that I've learned, things that I've thought about. What are things that you'd be interested in? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you later. Thanks.